Center for Game 3 between the Oklahoma City Thunder and the Denver Nuggets. Denver down 0-2, but back home where it had the third best record in the NBA during the regular season. Winner of this series takes on either San Antonio or Memphis. That game over on ESPN right now, a close one. The series tied 1 apiece. Hi everybody, alongside Doris Burke. I'm Dave Pasch. Holly Rowe here with us as well. Doris, probably a disservice to call Kevin Durant and Russell Westbrook one of the best young tandems in the league. They're one of the best tandems in the league, period.
Well, in terms of offensive productivity, they only trail LeBron James and Dwayne Wade. You've got the explosive Russell Westbrook in transition, a big guard who's better from the perimeter than he's been in past years, and Kevin Durant, simply the youngest back-to-back scoring champion in NBA history. He's been lights out in the first 2 games of the series. Averaging
32 points per game. Westbrook 26 points per game in the series so far. The other starters, Cephalosha, Ibaka, and Kendrick Perkins playing in his 71st career playoff game. For Denver, first home playoff game post Carmelo Anthony. Aflalo's back after missing games 1 and 2 with a hamstring injury. Lawson, Gallinari, Martin, and Nene in the middle. Oklahoma City won game 1 on a controversial tip-in by Kendrick Perkins. Oklahoma City was down when that happened. Ended up winning the game by 4, then blew out Denver in game 2, 106-89. Denver just 1 home loss since the Carmelo Anthony trade, and that was against these Thunder. Oklahoma City, a very good road team during the regular year. And here is Westbrook, an outstanding young player, all-star, 22 years of age in his 3rd year out of UCLA.
Well, that's the area of his game he's most improved since entering. That perimeter shooting, that mid-range pull-up has been solid.
Here's Gallinari and Durant, those long arms blocking the 3-point try. Westbrook finds Durant on the other end and misfiring on a 3. Rebound, Kenyon Martin. Here's Nene in the lane and another block. So 2 blocks by Oklahoma City. Here in the opening minute, Westbrook swatted away. Martin on the block. Ibaka shaken up on the other end for Oklahoma City. You see Nene's left hand getting Ibaka in the face unintentionally.
You see how quickly Russell Westbrook changes and gets to the rim?
Here's a Aflalo for 3, and that's a great sign for Denver. They need his offense. 13 points per game during the regular season. Missed games 1 and 2.
On the team with a group of emotional players, that is a guy who's very level-headed competitor.
Westbrook 6 of 10 from 3-point land in the series, so he can shoot it from out there. Cephalosha has struggled to shoot the ball. Out of bounds, Denver ball.
Well, you've missed Aaron Aflalo for a couple of reasons. This is one of the biggest ones, and this is a team that struggled from 3-point territory. JR, who knows a thing or two about making threes, although not against Oklahoma City. But you also missed Aflalo's defense. I mean, he is as solid guarding perimeter players as there is in the league.
Well, to your point on Smith, see how many minutes he gets tonight. As Martin gets inside and scores, Smith has not been a factor in the series, but he's one of those guys that can win you a game by himself. We'll see if he's a factor here in game 3.
Well, I certainly don't think there's any lingering effect from some comments he made between games 2 and 3 about being frustrated with his lack of playing time. They're accustomed to it, Dave.
What a move by Durant. The floater for Kevin Durant for his first basket. Here's Gallinari and Cephalosha with a reach-around foul. First on Oklahoma City.
That's his first team. Nothing's going on the side. 14 seconds on the shot clock.
Here's Lawson with the floater. Rebound Westbrook. the winner of that series between Memphis and San Antonio, the Grizzlies now up 2-1, will play the winner of this series. Right now favoring Oklahoma City 2-0, trying to win its first road playoff game as a franchise since 2005. Kevin Durant with a field goal already in this game. Westbrook has 2 field goals, and Denver trails Oklahoma City by 1. Denver's been a terrific home team, 3rd best record during the regular season as Durant misses on a 3. And Kendrick Perkins fouls Gallinari away from the ball. Been a physical series so far, and a lot of times Perkins has been the tip of the spear in that respect. He got a flagrant foul in game 2 early.
Now watch that bottom right side of your screen as they get tangled up on the weak side of the floor. I don't know about that one. It looked like they just get tangled. He's not giving worse than he's getting. They're tangled up. Is that reputation?
A little bit of a flop, maybe, from Gallinari.
Well, you think about Kendrick Perkins and that flagrant foul he got early. From that point forward, Oklahoma City put it to Denver. And so it was almost a message foul that had an impact.
Here's Martin feeding Nene for the jam. This building, a ton of energy. They've lost 1 home game since trading Carmelo Anthony. That was against Oklahoma City in the regular season, as Westbrook is now 3 of 3 from the field.
Well, listen, those 2 guys get the vast majority of shots, and that's where Westbrook has made himself into an elite guard, his ability to make shots.
Errant pass by Martin in the high-low.
Now, Kenyon Martin is an outstanding playmaker from the forward position. Uses a dribble to create a passing angle for himself. Nene playing off him, and you can see why the guy has such a high percentage. Nene, when he gets shots close to the basket, difficult to deal with him.
Oklahoma City with a blowout win in game 2 as Ibaka misses. It was a close game in game 1. Kendrick Perkins, a controversial tip-in that was later described by the NBA as a goaltending, but obviously you can't rescind that, can't go back and play it, so the game over. A lot of the Denver players, and talking with some of them, the coaches, they felt deflated after that because they felt the game they could have easily won. They had the lead when Perkins had that tip in. Still had a minute to go, so you don't know how things are going to play out.
Yeah, George Karl actually said, Dave, he felt like he blew it by not calling a timeout just to regroup his guys, and we asked him, was there any lingering effect? You think about what happened in the first 6 minutes of that second game. It was pretty devastating.
Loose ball foul on Perkins, so that's 2 quick ones on him. Here's the tip-in by Perkins. He had his hand through the net and touched the ball while it was in the cylinder, which is why it should have been ruled basket interference. It was not called at the time. Oklahoma City went up by 1 and eventually won that game by 4. So 2 fouls on Kendrick Perkins. And Nick Collison comes in the game, replacing him as Aflalo, playing in his first game this series. He missed games 1 and 2 with a hamstring injury, has 2 threes already.
Now he's had 2 failed comebacks, and this is what he's done in both chances to come back. He's made shots he's been able to guard for about 5 or 6 minutes, and then he limps to the bench because that hamstring gets pinched a little bit. So let's see, can he keep playing?
Rebound Martin, and Lawson looking to push the tempo. Denver, the #1 scoring team in the NBA during the regular season. A kick by Durant, so it stays Denver ball.
Well, Ty Lawson just does a great job getting by initial defenders. You're thinking your help's got to be there. Aflalo stays space on the left side of the floor and glances over our way.
Doris, how important do you think he is for Denver tonight?
I like his competitive spirit on the defensive end. He'll battle. He makes shots. And again, on a team with a high level of energy and emotion, he is consistent.
That's a 2. But 3 perimeter jumpers by Aflalo. He's got 8 of the 12 Denver total. Missed 12 of the final 15 regular season games with that hamstring problem as Collison stuffs in the putback. At least I don't think that was an alley-oop pass by Westbrook. But Aflalo is back. A career high, 13 points per game during the regular season. Was one of the top 3-point shooters in the NBA. And he really stepped up when they traded Carmelo Anthony. Now, they got a lot of help from a lot of guys, but Aflalo's game really seemed to go to a new level when he was able to play despite the injury. Here he is again, this time short. Nene with the offensive rebound. Blew the putback try, and then is fouled. There's 14 fouls already on Oklahoma City. Coming up on Monday, it'll be Game 4 between Oklahoma City and Denver. Game 5, if necessary, back in Oklahoma. Game 6 would be here next Friday night. Nene struggling so far this series at the foul line on the year, a 70% free throw shooter.
Just 12 of 18. And again, after those first 6 minutes where Oklahoma City put it on Denver, from that point forward, they played that game pretty even. A couple of runs they made at them, got it into single digits or close to single digits, and then inevitably it was a three or some free throw opportunities by Oklahoma City that kind of stopped those runs.
And a timeout by Oklahoma City. Midway through the first quarter. For those of you who want to see the rest of this game, flip over to ESPN. Stay on ESPN2 for SportsCenter, which comes up now. Denver by 3.
Up 3 over Oklahoma City. Well, Aaron Aflalo is starting his first game in the playoffs tonight. He's been out since the 5th of March with that hamstring injury. He told me earlier today that he's done everything he could to treat it well. They've done modality, ultrasound, ice, stimulation. He said the only thing that helped him, though, was rest. He said it's been very difficult to sit out, but today at shoot-around, guys, he was out on the floor hitting threes, and he said, you know what? I feel great. I'm going to hit about 10 of these tonight. Well, he's already hit 3 field goals, and he said that it's important for him to be on the floor because he brings a stabilizing energy to this team, and George Karl said he's our rock. We've got to have him on the floor.
But to Dave's point about what he brings in the absence of Carmelo Anthony, he's a guy who wants more responsibility, actually asks for it. And since he's been in the league, 4th year out of UCLA, he's been a pro's pro. Comes in, does his work, works on his game. How can I be better?
He's a late first-round pick by the Pistons. Got some action in the playoffs with them, then traded to Denver for a second-round pick. As Cephalosha is short with a pull-up and cleared by Nene. Here's Gallinari out in transition. He had a quiet game 2 as he misses the layup. Gallinari in game 1 had 18 points, but held to 7 in the second game as Durant is fouled by Kenyon Martin. Second foul on Denver. You can score Thunder and Nuggets playoff gear now at NBAstore.com and get free shipping on any order over $85. NBAstore.com. One store, every team.
Okay, so how surprised are you that Memphis is up 2-1 on San Antonio?
I'm really not. And that's only because San Antonio during the regular season won a lot of home games, beat a lot of the sub-500 teams and non-playoff teams. Memphis really came on at the end of the year.
It's amazing what they're doing in the absence of Rudy Gay.
Yeah. Still a ways to go in that series, but Memphis up 2-1 as Durant gets the second free throw. Kevin Durant, back-to-back NBA scoring champion, the youngest ever, and the 11th in the history of the league to go back-to-back scoring titles. A technical free throw coming up. Ty Lawson will go to the bench, and Raymond Felton will come in as we look at Scott Brooks in his 3rd season, 2nd full year, was the coach of the year in the NBA a year ago, former assistant here in Denver, and played 11 years in the NBA. As Aflalo hits the technical foul shot, and great to see George Karl back on the sideline of the playoffs. He missed the postseason a year ago after battling throat and neck cancer.
He just told his team after shoot-around, he said, these are precious moments. Not everybody's in the playoffs. Enjoy this. You're down 2-0, but these are opportunities you've got to embrace.
Nene finds Martin for the stop.
Tell you what you're seeing right now from Denver, a high assist-to-basket ratio. Without Carmelo, they're a much more balanced, equal opportunity team, and everybody's touching the ball.
Ibaka misses the jumper, and a loose ball foul called on Collison. So 2 on Collison and 2 on Perkins here in the first quarter for Oklahoma City.
Yeah, the ball, this team is really good in the absence of Melo when the basketball moves. Good entry pass into the post, and Kenyon and Nene work well with one another. They just react off the other. Simple one dribble pass.
Oklahoma City over the foul limit, so Kenyon Martin free throw line. And to your point on the balance since the Melo trade. First of all, they're 18 and 7, or in the regular season 18 and 7 since the trade. But 8 players averaging double figures for the Nuggets since the Anthony trade with the Knicks.
I guess there are some questions. Can that kind of team win an NBA championship? You think of great players. I guess the team that comes to mind in terms of balance and maybe not quote the traditional superstar, the Detroit Pistons. You know, Chauncey, Rasheed, Ben, Tayshaun, Rip. They were stars, but I don't know that any one was more important than the other. Obviously, Chauncey was Mr. Big Shot on that team, but that was just such a well-balanced group.
Oklahoma City's missed its last 4 shots and trails by 6. Westbrook hit his first 3. Here's Harden from outside, and James Harden, one of the top bench scorers in the NBA since the All-Star game, averaging 16 points per game.
Yeah, Taco Cephalosha, the better defender, but Harden gives him that punch.
Here's Felton off the mark and boarded by Durant.
And to his credit, Harden has worked hard on the defensive end of the floor to get better, and he has.
Harden had a big game, too, with 18 points as the jumper goes for Nazr Mohammed. The trade that they made for Kendrick Perkins at the deadline got a lot of publicity, but bringing in Mohammed, a guy who's won an NBA championship with San Antonio, been on a lot of playoff teams, has added experience and depth to their front court.
If you ask George Karl, he said it's the most underrated part of Oklahoma City's game. Collison is a smart interior defender, a hustle guy. Nene is a lot to handle for them, though.
That was Mohammed picking up the foul, so Nene will go to the foul line again.
Checking in the game, number 21, Wilson Chandler.
Perkins on the bench with those 2 fouls. Collison also 2, and Mohammed picking up his first personal. Nene 1 of 2 at the free throw line, goes back there. 2-0. The series in favor of Oklahoma City. There are a couple series tomorrow that could end. Miami's up 3-0 on Philadelphia. You can see that game 4 on ABC at 1 Eastern. Celtics and Knicks may not have Amari. Billups probably not going to play again, and New York down 0-3 in that series to Boston.
And none of those guys on New York has had anything for Rajon Rondo, who's been extraordinary. And there's no question that when he plays poorly, they play poorly. I mean, you just can't mask that fact anymore.
Think about it, the Knicks have not won a playoff game in a decade. They got swept the last time they were in the postseason in 2004 as Westbrook is fouled on the way to the goal. 3rd Denver team foul here in the quarter. Birdman comes into the game. The reason for the roar is a fan favorite here in Denver, and Nene will go to the bench. And Russell Westbrook was 8 of 9 at the free throw line this series. He had 31 points in game 1. And came back with 21 in game 2.
I admire the guy. You know, when he came out of UCLA, he was an outstanding athlete. But his basketball skill in the years that he's been in the league has gotten better every single year. He only made 35 threes on the year. If he ever gets that to triple digits like Derrick Rose has had, forget about it. I don't think you can guard him. His percentage is up. He's at 33%. He was at 22% a year ago. And he was the 2nd point guard behind Rose, selected in the 2008 draft, 4th overall, as Martin, well defended by Ibaka, who led the NBA in total blocks during the regular season. You see him hustle to get back down court and get an offensive position, and Ibaka gets the roll. So good work on both ends by the 21-year-old Serge Ibaka. Yeah, I mean, that guy's got a tremendous upside. Just uses his length and ability to get off his feet quickly to be a factor at the rim. on the defensive end.
One of the reasons they made that move for Perkins was they could move Ibaka to the 4. He was playing a lot of the 5 with Jeff Green in the lineup as Harden blazing down court is Ibaka for the stop. Again, great hustle by the second-year man out of the Republic of Congo. It's a Denver timeout. Oklahoma City leads by 4.
11-1 run. It was a necessary timeout, and you've got to stop Oklahoma City from doing this. In transition, so dangerous. Ibaka, no doubt.
ESPN's presentation of the NBA playoffs. Brought to you by BMW, the ultimate driving machine.
In Portland, as you look at some of our NBA headlines, Dallas up 23 with 1:15 left and behind 18 points in the 4th from Brandon Roy. The Blazers come back to win and tie the series.
Well, first of all, you want Brandon Roy to get back to the level he was at before the knee injuries. And that 4th quarter where he goes 8 for 9 gave you a glimpse of what he's capable of. And in the aftermath of him coming out and expressing frustration, you're happy to see it. Don't tell me they don't care. That guy was almost in tears.
Raymond Felton with a long 2, and Denver back within 2. That's the second time that Brandon Roy has apologized to his team. Earlier in the year, he had complained in December, and then before a game in Dallas at the shoot-around, he apologized to his team. Nate McMillan, really a big supporter of Brandon Roy, and you got to tip your hat to the way McMillan handled the whole situation with Brandon Roy, going back to him, giving him a second chance, and earning those minutes.
Such an even-keeled coach, Nate McMillan, and a guy who, respects and appreciates what Brandon Roy meant to the franchise. At the same time, you're paid to win games as a coach, and these are difficult decisions as a human being, but nonetheless necessarily made.
Westbrook back at the free throw line as Felton fouled him. Westbrook just 22 years of age. 3rd year out of UCLA, was an all-star for the first time this year. And he's in double figures now with 10 points. Four-point lead for Oklahoma City with 2 minutes to go here in the first quarter. Thunder looking to take a 3-0 series lead. They're on a 13-3 run right now. Martin missing, but Anderson is there for the follow. J.R. Smith also on the floor now for Denver. He's playing only 12 minutes per game so far in this series. As Durant lost it. Numbers for Denver. Wilson Chandler in transition and knocked out of bounds by Westbrook.
20 seconds on the shot clock.
Westbrook will take a seat. Eric Maynor, who's had a good series, second-year man out of VCU, will replace him. Here's Chandler. He has struggled shooting the ball against Oklahoma City this year. Just 0 for 6 in game 2, but hits that shot with Durant defending. They need production out of that 2-guard spot. They're getting it certainly with a follow, and now Chandler helping out. He was 7 for 35 before that shot in 4 games against Oklahoma City this year. Ibaka, no. Muhammad push underneath. And that's 2 on him. So 2 on Perkins, Muhammad, and Collison, respectively.
And you've got J.R. Smith and Chris Anderson in the game, and there's Scott Brooks, obviously a little bit concerned about the fouls mounting on his inside guys. But both Anderson and J.R. Smith upset, but neither has hung his head. Birdman's been a factor since he entered the ballgame.
And getting a chance to shoot free throws. Not a great free throw shooter for his career, but really worked hard to become a factor in the NBA after being suspended earlier in his career for off-the-court issues.
You remember the game this year we had him on our air and he forgot hair products? And he wore it flat. He looked like an entirely different human being. I remember tuning into the game thinking, who is that guy? I think Lisa Salters actually did a piece on it because the guy couldn't find anything to make that hair stand up.
You didn't borrow Lisa's hair product to get that thing to stand up.
Clearly not.
Wonder if it was Van Gundy and Shulman doing that game.
Yeah, he's out of luck with those two guys.
Wilson Chandler just picked up a foul for Denver. So both teams in the penalty. Kevin Durant led the NBA and made free throws during the regular season. Second-time All-Star this year. First as a starter, first player in their franchise to start in an All-Star game since Gary Payton back in 1998.
I like that little shoulder shake he does right before he gets that into his shooting motion. I keep forgetting to ask him why he does that. Is that like to get him loose?
He's a terrific free throw shooter, so it works. About 90% for his career. Here's J.R. Smith. Hasn't hit a three in the series until now. And if he gets going, look out. He can shoot you in or out of the game. And he gives Denver a 3-point lead. Here's Harden to the goal. Mohammed couldn't tip it in. Felton in transition. He'll drive in. There's Martin with the stop. Denver's going to the glass. A lot of follow-up dunks here in the first quarter.
Push the pace, put it up soft on the rim, and let your athletes go get it.
Here's Durant with 5 seconds to go in the quarter, facing the double team. With 2, Durant finds Ibaka, and he did not get it off. No bucket. Denver looking like the team that led the NBA in scoring during the regular season, closing the first quarter on an 11-2 run.
Getting out in transition. Both teams want to play with pace. Go to the offensive glass. J.R. Smith, if he starts making threes, look out, folks. And then Raymond Felton, he doesn't finish, but Kenyon's there.
Welcome back to Denver, here with Oklahoma City coach Scott Brooks. And coach, how do you feel like your team is handling the energy and the emotion in this building so far?
Well, there's great energy here. You give them fans a lot of credit. I thought we did a good job. The quarter got away from us the last 2 minutes. We took too many bad shots, but we got to do a much better job of doing that.
You guys dominated them, rebounding them by 23 in the last game, but how are they hurting you on the glass right now?
Well, we're not getting back in transition. They're following up their transition, their game, and their penetration with rebounds. We got to put a body on guys.
Thanks, coach.
Thank you.
They actually ended the quarter -3 on the backboards, but down the stretch they were dominating. All of those fouls are mounting on the Oklahoma City interior guys, and the inside guys for Denver doing an exceptional job.
Collison, Mohammed, and Perkins with 2 fouls apiece. Mohammed and Collison are back on the floor. Perkins remains on the bench. Chris Anderson with a slam to start the period as Denver leads by 7, trying to win its first game in this series, as Smith can't connect with Birdman. A turnover. Nuggets shot 48% in that opening quarter and held Oklahoma City to 39%. Kevin Durant was just 1 of 4. Russell Westbrook was 3 of 6, but missed his last 3 shots from the floor. Look at the difference from game 2 for Denver.
Yeah, he talked about being confident. He said game 1 could have gone either way, and after the first 6 minutes we played them even. He said, I think some of my young guys didn't react well to the initial surge put on them in game 2.
Here's James Harden out there with Mohammed, Collison, Maynard, and Daquan Cook as Durant is sitting for the first time in the game. Here's Wilson Chandler. Out to Al Harrington, who's had a really good series. He can't hit the 3 there. Harrington was 4 of 6 from behind the arc this series prior to that miss. Daquan Cook can light it up, and he cans a 3 from the corner.
Now, he can make threes in bunches, and without Westbrook and Durant, who take the vast majority of their shots, the scoring has got to fall to Harden. You hope Daquan can make some threes.
He was 11th in the NBA in 3-point shooting during the season. Daquan Cook, Felton with a pretty move down the lane, hits the floater.
See, in a guy like Felton who comes off the bench, he was a starter in New York, and he, like Ty Lawson, can create shot opportunities for himself or the guys around him.
We'll see those two on the floor together at times tonight. Collison with a reverse. Got his own miss. Goes back up with the right hand and scores over Birdman. Here's Smith moving to his left. Off target with the three-point try. Oklahoma City leading this series 2-0. Game 4 Monday here in Denver. Anderson with the swat on Harden. Chandler, thanks to the hustle by Smith, gets to the loose ball. Can't finish on the other end, but a blocking foul as Collison picks up his third personal.
We talk about Oklahoma City putting pressure on in the open floor. Denver wants to do exactly the same thing as you see the blocking foul.
Collison still in the restricted area, so it's a blocking foul, his third. Denver leads by 4 in Game 3. Back in Denver, the Nuggets with a 4-point lead. Kevin Durant just 1 of 4 shooting, 5 points for Oklahoma City.
Well, you guard them with your team. So watch Kenyon Martin, and Nene is aware. So he just switches out because Kenyon's not going to trail that entire time. Danilo with good length. They've been pleased with the job he's done contesting shots. See all the white bodies around him. And then on the catch, they double team him. And they're very physical with Kevin, and they're going to try to make him give up the basketball. He talked to us about being decisive, quicker into his moves. Well, those are athletic, big bodies coming at him in that trap.
He's back on the floor after sitting for the first 2 minutes and 42 seconds of the second quarter. Played all 12 minutes in the first. Wilson Chandler at the free throw line. He was a part of that trade with the Knicks for Carmelo Anthony back on February 22nd.
And he leads the team in shots. I find this an interesting thing in the NBA. I mean, generally speaking, somebody takes 15 shots a game. Not for Denver. And he leads them with 11 since he came in. J.R. Smith gets 10. I mean, the shot distribution is interesting with the Nuggets.
9 different Nuggets led them in scoring in a game since the trade. And that was 2 months ago. They only played 27 games, including these 2 playoff games since that deal. Here's Durant for 3. Hit it! His second field goal and his first three-pointer.
His release is so good that if you're just a second late on the contest, you're not close enough on the catch, he will make that shot.
Only other field goal came in the first 3 minutes. Now here's Durant with back-to-back buckets as Oklahoma City is tied it at 36. Durant now with 10. Westbrook also 10. Aflalo the leading scorer for Denver with 9. Smith finds Anderson underneath and 6 points for Anderson, who averaged less than 6 during the regular season for an entire game.
Unselfish play by J.R. Smith. He had a jumper right inside the free throw line. Just felt like Chris had a better shot.
Check that, 8 points for Anderson. 3 of 3 from the field, 2 of 2 at the line. Anderson thought he had a clean block, but a Denver foul is called.
Well, he was 1 for 4, but it doesn't take long for Durant to heat up. Chandler is too far removed as a defender, and then in transition, they get a steal. That's a heck of a catch and a terrific finish. Now, Durant is an improving player in the half-court offense, getting a little bit stronger, put some time in the weight room, but obviously, you got to take away those transition opportunities.
Mohammed at the line, shooting 2. And an air ball. George Karl wired for sound tonight.
Our tough shots, they're running on. Our missed layups, they're running on. They're very good at converting that. We've got to get back and be aware of when we go in and they block a shot, they're coming at us full speed. Everybody's athlete. If they miss it, they're pounding. You can't just think it's going to be simple. It isn't.
What you saw with that transition basket by Kevin Durant right after he hit the 3. Meanwhile, Mohammed misses the second free throw as well.
Listen, how'd you like to have either guard with a full head of steam, Lawson or Westbrook?
Bad turnover there by Lawson. Aflalo with a foul on Harden. That's the 3rd Denver foul here in the quarter. Now, Lawson and Westbrook, two of the fastest point guards. We went from last week watching Jason Kidd and Andre Miller do battle to Westbrook and Lawson. Quite a change of pace, as they're going to look at the monitor to see whether this was a clear path foul or not, which would be if it's called a clear path foul. 2 shots and the ball. And that is the ruling on the court, clear path. So they're going to look just to confirm. Looked like Aflalo was ahead of Harden. And the officials have looked at the video and they're now discussing whether to confirm
Ruling on the floor stand.
the initial ruling on the court.
Ruling on the floor stand.
Ruling on the floor stand. So they must have felt that when the foul occurred that they were even, or that Aflalo was behind him.
I guess you could make the case that they were even.
So it'll be 2 shots for Harden. Harden, the number 3 pick in the 2009 draft. At 18 points in game 2. Made the all-rookie team a year ago, second team member. And gets both free throws. And Oklahoma City gets the ball as well.
Some talk at the start of the year is who was going to start at the 2-guard spot. Would it have been Thabo Sefolosha, who's an outstanding defender, or Harden? But I think Harden off the bench, you know, he's the leader of that contingent in terms of his ability to put numbers on the board.
He leads all reserves in scoring since the All-Star break, as Cook misses on the 3. And here comes Lawson looking for his first points after a career playoff high 20 points in game 2. Kickball, so it stays Denver basketball. Ibaka is going to come back in. We have not seen Kendrick Perkins since he picked up his 2nd foul. They brought Collison back in with 2, and then he picked up his 3rd. Perkins went out. About 8 minutes to go in that opening quarter. There's Harrington at position on Westbrook, and then Ibaka with the block. He averaged 2.5 blocks per game during the regular year, and he's got 2 swats tonight. Here's Harden to the basket, and Anderson picks up his 2nd foul. 4th team foul on Denver. And now wait, they're going to change the call and say an offensive foul as Harden with his offhand pushed Anderson.
Well, he's a lefty and he gets right to the rim. Does he use that right hand to make contact? I don't know. I don't love that call.
Denver trying to have this series. 2-0 in favor of Oklahoma City. A 4-point win in game 1, a blowout victory in game 2. In particular, the first quarter as Chandler turns it over, stepping on the baseline.
Well, it's interesting to watch Westbrook and Ty Lawson square off because both guys usually very good at breaking defenders down. In that instance, Lawson couldn't get by Westbrook. Westbrook is such a good defender. He gets in a stance. He's got unbelievable feet. He's long. He's a big guard. Very difficult to get past him.
Westbrook with a turnover. Harrington just lost it, but got it off of Durant's leg out of bounds. Will stay Denver ball.
Have you heard Jeff Van Gundy talk about the 2 fouls and say he wouldn't, if he goes back to coaching, he wouldn't overreact? It feels like Kendrick has been on that bench forever.
He has, but midway through the first quarter, as Nene is fouled by Ibaka. That's only his first. Under over the limit. Free throws for Nene. Only 4 minutes played for Perkins until he picked up that 2nd foul. And Nene 2 for 4 at the foul line so far in the game.
And here he comes. This is interesting.
Coming up tomorrow, Sunday Night Baseball on ESPN featuring the Reds and the Cardinals. Pujols getting it going. Had a home run today, 7th of the year. And Monday night, White Sox, Yankees on Monday Night Baseball, 7 Eastern. Certainly thoughts and prayers with all the folks in St. Louis impacted by the devastating tornado that destroyed part of the airport and many of the homes in the St. Louis area. And they with the rejection on Westbrook. Second block for him.
Terrific reaction, a little frustration. The explosion by the defender by Westbrook, but Nene in perfect health position. Look at this, a nice job not to foul.
Here's Durant off the Perkins screen, misses on the 3, and then Felton gets tangled up with Westbrook. Felton goes down hard.
I think he
picks up a foul.
Yeah, he's a terrific rebounder. This is against Felton. I thought it was an over the back on Westbrook.
Felton was blocking out Westbrook.
Well, we get a look.
Just blocking him out, right? Or you think it was a foul in Felton at the second look?
I think the second look at that. There's a reason we're over here.
Here's Durant with the floater. And Harrington with the backside board. Denver ball and a 1-point lead. This game is slowed down after we got off to a fast-paced start on a high-scoring series so far. Aflalo back on the court, way off of that one. Long rebound to Westbrook. Here's Harden with the spot-up 3. It's there. Oklahoma City back on top by 2.
So you're sending so many guys back to deal with Durant, and Harden does a nice job staying spaced.
Lawson fouled on the way to the bucket. He'll shoot 2.
Oklahoma City puts an awful lot of pressure on your transition defense. George Karl was talking about that. Durant rim run. And you've got to go contend with him, and that leaves Harden uncontested on the perimeter.
Meanwhile, Atlanta looks to go up 3-1 tomorrow. That game on TNT. Boston and Miami look to wrap up their series tomorrow on ABC. Kendrick Perkins was on the floor for less than a minute before he picked up his 3rd personal foul. So he's played 5 minutes and 4 seconds. No points, 3 fouls.
Well, thankfully for him, he's not a rhythm player. Now, normally you'd say a guy will have a hard time getting his rhythm in the second half. He won't, because he's just a defender and space eater and a physical presence. But I got to go. The Indiana-Chicago game, I don't know who the director was on TNT who cut that late game stuff. But the reactions of the crowd in Indianapolis were absolutely classic. They were in abject disbelief.
How about all 4 games in that series decided by 6 points or less? It's 3-1 favor Chicago. Here it's 2-0 Oklahoma City. Looking to take game 3 on the road. Denver 11-1 since the Melo trade here at home with that 1 loss to the Thunder as Ibaka with a great move in a low block.
Yeah, and now he's got to go back to the 5 spot. But that's a guy whose upside is tremendous.
Watson off the Nene screen, gets to the goal and scores off the square.
You had Westbrook anticipating the screen. A nice job by Lawson to reject it and go right to the rack.
First field goal for Ty Lawson. 4 points now in the game. A double Durant. Cephalosha to the bucket. Nene with the left-handed rejection. And then Ibaka throws it into the backcourt. It's over and back. Turnover, Oklahoma City.
Well, Nene is a presence at the rim. Again, penetration blow by, but he has been there to meet them on several occasions.
His 3rd block of the game to go along with 5 points.
You've got the smaller lineup with Felton and Lawson playing, but the reason Aflalo is important is their switching schemes are better when Aflalo's on the floor.
Lawson, Felton, and Aflalo on the floor together, along with Martin and Nene for Denver as Westbrook picks up the foul. Let's listen into a recent huddle by Oklahoma City coach Scott Brooks.
We're playing about a tick too fast. Just a tick. Slow down. Trust your abilities. Trust your teammates. Trust the ball moving.
Forrest, how much of that do you think it is when you have mostly younger players trying to take that next step as a franchise by winning on the road in the postseason, something they did not do against the Lakers a year ago?
No, I think that's an awful lot of it. There's no question, because when we've talked to Kevin Durant this morning, you could tell that this team as a unit knows that's the next step, that if you're going to be a great team, you've got to be able to win away from home.
Nene had trouble getting the handle inside and then was way off with a shot. Oklahoma City's last road win in a playoff series was in 2005 when they were the Sonics, as Durant misses again. Struggling from the field, 3 of 9 shooting, but a Denver foul going to give Oklahoma City extra opportunity at points. Speaking of the Sonics, Nene just picked up his second foul. And Ibaka will go to the line. Ibaka had 12 points, 12 rebounds in game 2. Let's check in with Ali Rowe, who has more on Oklahoma City's travel schedule to Denver.
Well, they're trying to learn how to win on the road, so they made a few changes to their itinerary. They came in a full day early. They got here to Denver on Thursday. Now, the players said they thought it was in part to get used to the altitude here. They had a full, really intense workout yesterday. Kevin Durant said after the first 5 or 6 minutes we were dying, but it helped to get our body moving. Even Kendrick Perkins said, I spent an extra 30 minutes on the treadmill today just to get my body used to the altitude. But Scott Brooks said more importantly he wanted them to get settled in the city, comfortable and focused in. They've got to learn how to win on the road.
Kenyon Martin actually said if they go on the road for 4 days, they'll actually feel the altitude when they return.
Under by 2, inside 4 minutes to go here in the second quarter. Aflalo lost the handle, able to keep his dribble alive. Shot clock at 4. Here's Lawson looking to take Westbrook. Lawson with the jumper, his second bucket of the day.
Well, like his counterpart, worked very, very hard to improve those perimeter opportunities, either from the mid-range or the long range.
Westbrook charges into Nene. That's 2 on Westbrook. And good defense by Nene.
Well, Nene has been a big, big factor on both ends. You see Ty Lawson, looks like Westbrook gets through the screen, just quickly pulls the trigger. And Brooks on the charge call.
6th turnover by Oklahoma City, 5th here in the second quarter. Meanwhile, Ty Lawson with all 6 of his points here in the period. After the Phillips and Melo trade, Lawson became a 15-point-per-game scorer as the starting point guard. He was in and out with that attempt, and then Kenyon Martin picks up the foul. 2 on him, both teams over the limit with 3:08 to play here in the second quarter in a tie game.
And you know somewhere, since we were discussing the altitude, somewhere Mark Jackson and Jeff Van Gundy are shaking their heads going, that shouldn't even be a discussion. It's the playoffs.
Ibaka at the free throw line. Again, Kendrick Perkins with 3 fouls. He's on the bench. He's only played 5 minutes. It's a guy that has a bright future in the NBA. Only 21 years of age. He led the NBA in total blocks during the season. He survived a major war growing up in Congo in which his father was in prison for about a year. Got out, eventually came to the United States. And a future star in the NBA. He's got 10 points tonight and 6 here in the quarter. Felton with a turnover. Harden with the steal. On the other end, Harden with the throwdown.
Open floor turnovers, those mistakes that you make at the top of the key where there's no chance at defending when they get out in transition. And it's been silly passing.
Another bad pass there. Martin trying that high-low bounce pass to Nene. 8th giveaway by Denver. Here's Durant. Westbrook setting a mini screen on Felton, and Durant hits a three.
That's frustration, and timeout because of that frustration. They're turning their mistakes, Denver's mistakes, into points on the other end.
Second three for Durant. He's got 13 points, and Oklahoma City's on top. 52-45, its largest lead of the night.
I think service in the community means a lot to our organization. The fans do so much for us and supporting us. The least we can do is let them know that we're here and, we care for them. Just because, we play in the NBA doesn't mean we should change as people. We have an opportunity to tell them that we care and show them that we care. I think that means a lot. So I want to continue to just, try to get back and try to be the best person I can be.
Kevin Durant, very humble guy and terrific on the court as well. 13 points, 8 here in the quarter. Really gets it. You say that a lot about athletes who just understand the full scope of what's expected of them, and he's one of those guys. Lawson, and well defended by Durant. 7-0 run by the Thunder in the last 45 seconds to take a 7-point lead. Shot clock at 3. Here's Felton, got a fire over Cephalosha, way off.
I think to your point about Kevin Durant, you've got to give an awful lot of credit to Oklahoma City as an organization. They talk an awful lot about the process. They've been patiently building this contender.
Starts with the ownership, and then Sam Presti, their general manager. Ibaka can't finish, but got it back. Missed it again, and finally a foul is called. And you talk about the organization, Presti, one of the youngest executives in the NBA, has done such a terrific job drafting Russell Westbrook. Troy Weaver sitting to his left, the assistant general manager, helped draft Aaron Williams when he was in Utah. And look what they've done in terms of locking up their players for the future. Perkins recently signing that contract through 2015.
Well, remember, Sam Presti came up through the San Antonio Spurs organization, so a lot of similarities in terms of trying to acquire pieces that are not only talented, but that fit together well and that are committed to team. And they're not rushing it. I think they've shown great patience. You can sometimes make a trade to get some sizzle in your organization. They haven't tried to do that. The pieces they've acquired, like Kendrick Perkins, fit what they need.
Think about it. This team won 23 games in 2009. They went to 50 last year and played a great series against the Lakers. They lost in 6 games. And this year they come back with 55 wins. And have a 2-0 lead in this series. And their largest lead of this game, up 9. Last touched by Oklahoma City. Denver keeps possession. Don't forget, Toyota halftime show coming up. Hannah Storm will have the highlights from an incredible fourth quarter by Brandon Roy and the Blazers. Denver's missed its last 4 shots. Gallinari on the floor. He's barely played tonight, hasn't scored. Nene takes the jumper and hits it. That ends in 9-0 OKC run.
Boy, his percentages have not been great outside of that painted area. Inside, he's like 60%. Away from the basket, he's not been great. But tell you what, you get your rhythm early, and then those 15-footers become a little easier.
Oh, what a pass by Durant to Cephalosha.
And that's where he's really grown. And he talks a little bit about the playmaking he had to do on the United States national team in the summer, where he was a playmaker.
Lawson behind the back, feeds Nene, and Durant thought that he blocked cleanly the shot by Nene on the dunk attempt. Instead, it's a foul.
Kevin Durant, as a passer, is getting better and better. How about the rifle pass to the rim? Just picture perfect. And then this is the attempt at the defensive play. Got him on the wrist.
Doris, what's been the biggest difference with the defense here in the second quarter for Oklahoma City? Only 16 points for the Nuggets, now 17, after 31 in the first quarter.
Yeah, they pride themselves on putting great pressure on the basketball at the point of attack and buying their other defenders a little bit of time.
Now, they've struggled at times on defense this year. Their numbers not great during the regular season, 18th in points allowed, 15th in field goal defense after they were in the top 7 last year in field goal defense.
And let's be honest. I mean, we talked a moment ago about Denver's turnovers. They're helping Oklahoma City.
Yep.
Their passing has not been solid, and particularly their passing in live ball turnover situations.
See if they go for a 2-for-1 here. Oklahoma City leading by 8. Durant has 13 points to lead all scorers. Short with a 3. Nene skies in there for the rebound. 5-second difference between game and shot clocks. Lawson has been really Denver's primary scorer here in the second quarter after it was a Flalo in the first quarter. He's got 6 points here in the period. Gallinari with 2 to shoot finds a Flalo off target. Durant lost it to Gallinari, and then what a play by Ibaka, swatting it out of bounds. 2.1 to shoot here in the quarter for Denver.
The crowd reacting. Kendrick appreciating that defensive play. The crowd booing because Ibaka so demonstrative after the block.
Martin fouled on the dunk attempt on the alley-oop inbounds pass from Lawson. Second on Ibaka, and Martin will shoot 2. Denver just 11 of 17 at the free throw line so far tonight. And another miss at the strike for Denver.
They've hurt themselves in this series.
His free throws, the turnovers here in the second quarter. 6 of them coming this period. 1 out of 2 for Kenyon Martin. Here's Maynard from three-quarter court. Oklahoma City with a 7-point lead at halftime. Game was tied with 3:39 to go in the quarter, so an 11-4 close by OKC. And here's Holly Rowe.
Well, Kevin, you had 5 points in that first quarter. What were they doing that was making it so difficult for you?
They was making me get off the ball, trapping, putting a man in front of me when I had it in the post, so I just tried to make the right passes.
Second quarter, though, you really came alive. What did you do differently?
Coach put me at the 4, and, a big man was guarding me, so they had to help a little bit more when our point guards, I got some wide open looks.
Thanks so much.
All right, appreciate it.
Holly 13 points, but just 4 of 11 shooting for Kevin Durant. Coming up on the Toyota halftime show, Hannah Storm will have all the highlights from a great day in the NBA, an exciting finish in Portland, and a franchise first for the Memphis Grizzlies. Oklahoma City trying to go 3-0 in this series on Denver. It's a 7-point lead for the Thunder at halftime. Serge Ibaka had 12 points, 10 rebounds, and 3 blocks for OKC.
Now, it's time for the McDonald's first half highlights. That was today's McDonald's first half highlights.
Oklahoma City looking to go up 3-0 in its first round series with the Denver Nuggets leading at halftime 56-49, outscoring the Nuggets 30-18 in the second quarter. As we look at our Buick Regal game track, similar story to game 2 in terms of rebounding. In fact, in the series, Oklahoma City is plus 33. Thunder making its free throws and its threes again as well. Dave Pash with Doris Burke. Holly Rowe with us as well. Oklahoma City, Doris, has so many weapons. 4 players with 10 or more points in that first half. Denver had nobody in double figures.
You mentioned the similarities in rebounding, similarities in balanced scoring as well. James Harden did his job off the bench. And a very difficult matchup with Serge Ibaka. 4 offensive rebounds. He's got 12 points, 10 rebounds, and 3 blocks. So a factor on both ends. But this team is about Kevin Durant. And early on in the first period, he struggled a bit. Danilo Gallinari is drawing that defensive assignment most times, and he's using his length to get up and challenge. There have been times where they've tried to double team him, but you cannot sleep on Kevin Durant. Wilson Chandler a step slow as he worries about penetration, and then you've got to take this away. I mean, this is where Westbrook and Kevin Durant really hurt you, and that's in transition with early opportunities.
How about the fact Kendrick Perkins played 5 minutes in that first half because of foul trouble, yet his team leads by 7. It goes back to George Karl, the Denver head coach's point about the depth up front for Oklahoma City, which is, in his view, the most underrated aspect of the Thunder, as Martin throws it out of bounds on the first possession of the third quarter for Denver.
Right, and it's not just about Kendrick Perkins and the physical nature of his game. It's about the smarts of Nick Collison, the energy of Serge Ibaka.
Here's Ibaka with a jumper, and rebounded by Nene. Aflalo, the leading scorer, with 9 points for the Denver Nuggets, but most of those came really early in the game. Got off to a hot start, playing for the first time this series because of a hamstring injury. Ibaka just picked up his third foul, so he, Perkins, and Collison all with 3 personals. No team has ever come back in the NBA playoffs from a 3-0 deficit in a best-of-7 series, so obviously an important half for the Nuggets. Game 4 Monday night here in Denver.
Oh, they've got to stop doing this. I mean, they're just killing themselves. That's 12 for 20 from the free throw line. Their turnovers and inefficiency in the open floor turnovers contributed to it.
3 missed free throws for Kenyon Martin, so he's now 5 of 11 this series.
Well, you think about this. When Chauncey and Carmelo were here, those 2 guys are such exceptional free throw shooters. And then Aflalo missing those first 2 games, those are 3 of their better free throw shooters.
That's a great point. In Oklahoma City, you don't want to get in a free throw shooting contest with them. They led the league in free throw shooting. Nene looked like for a moment he had another block. He had 3 in the first half. Instead, a foul is called.
Woo!
Unless they called it on Martin, and that's what they did. They called it on Kenyon Martin. So it looked like a clean block, and that's 3 on Martin. Serge Ibaka at the free throw line had 12 points, 12 rebounds in game 2, so back-to-back double-doubles. Boy, you look at what's going on in that San Antonio-Memphis series, and you're starting to think if Oklahoma City can win here tonight, end this in 4 or 5, and get some rest before playing either San Antonio or Memphis, they get a real chance to get to the conference finals.
Oh boy, Antonio McDyess, I think they're saying shoulder injury, and that's an undersized post game as it is. And now if they're missing McDyess, who's such a savvy veteran, that is a huge miss.
Memphis with its first playoff win tonight, so up 2-1 in this series. Gallinari has not scored in this game, and another turnover. He couldn't connect there with Kenyon Martin.
Yeah, he's been unable to get going offensively. He's drawing the assignment of Kevin Durant on the defensive end. And he's a guy who seems to score in spurts, Gallinari. And down the street, when he first joined them, he was scoring at a high clip, and then it's tailed off.
I saw him in Portland in one of his first games in Denver, scored 30. A lot of those came at the free throw line. But they'll take that. They could use his free throw shooting. They'll take it to the basket. Here's Durant. And another miss for Kevin Durant. He's just 4 of 13 from the field. But Oklahoma City with an 8-point lead. Lawson with 10 to shoot, gives it up to Aflalo. Gallinari stripped by Durant. It'll stay Denver ball, 4 to shoot.
They've had 2 offensive possessions, 2 turnovers, Denver, and now you've got 4 ticks to try to generate a quality look here.
Thunder gave up 31 points in the first quarter, but excellent defense since. Gallinari forced it up, beat the buzzer, his first points of the game. Third-year man out of Italy. This is his first NBA postseason. A lot of guys on this Denver roster have not played in the playoffs or haven't played a whole lot. Remember, Billups and Carmelo Anthony had been in the playoffs just about every year in the league. and all those conference finals for Billups, as Ibaka has 16 points. He leads all scorers, a career playoff high.
Well, didn't hesitate. I mean, that jumper was from the exact same spot. He had just missed it.
Nene going back to work. Martin underneath. This time they connect on a mini high-low, and Martin able to finish as well. 60-54, Oklahoma City. Less than 3 minutes into the third quarter. Thunder leading the series 2-0. Durant, an open J. And this time he hits it. 15 points for Kevin Durant, the NBA's leading scorer for the second straight season. Now on the switch, Durant guarding Lawson. Martin will take the jumper, way off. Gallinari kept it alive. Last touch, though, by Nene.
Just doesn't feel like Denver's helping themselves with the turnovers, with the missed free throws. I mean, here's a mistake defensively. You know, you got both guys who go with the ball, and nobody steps out and gets Durant. It's an easy opportunity. You don't want to give that guy uncontested looks.
He had already missed a couple in a row, and you know he's really going to miss 4 or 5 in a row. Cephalosha from the corner. And he can't find it again tonight. Really struggling shooting the ball in this series. Gallinari taking it in on Durant. Draws the foul. And he is the one guy. Well, Lawson's a good free throw shooter, but the one guy is really consistent at the free throw line. Second foul on Durant. Gallinari, 86% free throw shooter during the regular season. NBA on ABC tomorrow with a doubleheader, and baseball on ESPN tomorrow night as the Cardinals take on the Reds. ESPN Sunday Night Baseball at 8 Eastern time. Then at 7 Eastern on Monday, it's Monday Night Baseball, the White Sox and the Yankees.
Well, you've got a New Englander, Sean McDonough, former Red Sox announcer, having to call a Yankee game with the Red Sox out of the gate slow.
Here's Durant, finds Perkins, who has not scored in this game, barely played because of foul trouble. A line drive off the front of the rim. It drops. One almost hit the official. Derek Stafford got out of the way from that errant pass from Lawson. Nene from the drop-off by Aflalo. Crowd has been quiet. They were fired up early in this game, but they've been in their seats for a while. Denver back within 6, under 8 to play here in the third. Westbrook hit his first 3 shots of the game and has missed 5 in a row since. He was way off of that attempt. Here's Gallinari starting to get it going. This is there on the triple trouble.
I thought it was a poor shot by Westbrook on that last possession. There were 8 ticks on the clock. It's not his strength, three-point shooting. And because Durant's back to the 3, you've got Gallo on him. And this is where he struggled in the first period.
Perkins falling away, no. And cleared by Martin. What does Denver have to do offensively to get back to what it was doing in the first quarter when it scored 31 points?
Well, I said that when they were getting high assist-to-basket ratios, the ball was moving side to side. Lots of hands were touching it.
Aflalo couldn't save it there. Looked like they had good ball movement in that possession, but Lawson missed the 3. He's a good three-point shooter, around 40%.
What's interesting is both teams want to play with pace, but as usual, there are just inevitably points in the game where the game slows down. And you can see the field goal percentage not great for either team.
Denver has won only 1 series in its history when down 0-2. That was as an 8 seed against George Karl and the Seattle Sonics back in '94. As Durant now has 17 points and the lead back to 8.
Well, on his movement, they're switching, and in that instance, it ended up being Aflalo as he came off the staggers. And so he has size and easily shoots over Aflalo.
Martin on Ibaka, reaching by Westbrook. Shot clock at 5. Lawson, a little push off there. Timers at 2. Westbrook finds Nene.
And the Oklahoma City staff feels like that was a shot clock violation. I tell you what, how about Lawson under duress of that trap? Step through it.
Great patience.
Yeah, and toughness.
Here's Durant with a pull-up. Denver can cut it to 4, maybe 3 here.
Boy, Gallo's fighting Kevin Durant.
Kenyon Martin with a free throw line jam. And a timeout by Oklahoma City.
ESPN's presentation of the NBA playoffs. Brought to you by the 2011 Sierra from GMC. The best Sierra ever.
Oklahoma City by 6 because a dunk by Nene is ruled no good, because as you see, the ball is still in his hands as he goes up for the dunk. It's a shot clock violation. Russell Westbrook with 10 points for Oklahoma City, 7 assists. And Holly Rowe has more on what Westbrook and the Thunder were talking about during the timeout.
Well, during that last huddle, he was a little bit frustrated with his teammates. He was saying, guys, you've got to look up at me. Every dead ball, you've got to make eye contact with me. I'm trying to change the plays, and you're not noticing. He really got on Ibaka in particular, and he's just trying to be a leader out on the floor right now. He hasn't scored in the second half, so he's getting a little frustrated.
3 field goals in the first 3.5 minutes. He does have 7 assists.
But no field goals since those first 3 you mentioned. There he is off the Perkins screen. Finds Durant. Durant short. 6 field goals for Kevin Durant, but 11 misses. Here's Nene. Trying to back down Ibaka. Good move, but he couldn't finish. And here comes Westbrook. Perkins kept the pivot foot down. And now foul call. No traveling. He eventually lifted the pivot foot.
So trying to make a stand on the defensive end of the floor. Danilo Gallinari, who when he came into the league, there were a lot of questions, could he guard? He's drawing the assignment of Kevin Durant. Now once he starts to move, they're making some solid switches. But Gallinari is fighting him pretty good in that particular instance. He made a nice defensive rotation.
Here's a Flalo, and good deed by Perkins and Cephalosha. Boy, Cephalosha, a very good defensive player.
Yeah.
Flalo got off to that great start. Neither he nor J.R. Smith nor Wilson Chandler has really done much at that 2-guard position. J.R. Smith not getting a lot of minutes as Cephalosha's able to get a bucket on the other end.
Yeah, and those are bonus. I mean, Cephalosha, if he's going to score, it's going to be on a cut like that to the rim, or it's going to be in transition. But you're right, that guy is hard to score against.
4 assists in the quarter now for Westbrook, 8 for the game. Here's Gallinari on the other end working on Durant. Contact as Durant picks up his 3rd personal foul.
If you're Cephalosha and you're a little offensively challenged, you got to figure out how I can score. And he's one of their best cutters. And so Westbrook just sort of feeling his way around the defense. Cephalosha gets behind. Nice play.
Gallinari back at the free throw line. Made both of his attempts earlier this quarter. You mentioned we got a doubleheader for you on ABC tomorrow. It starts at 1 Eastern with Miami and Philadelphia, and Boston and New York to follow, both the Celtics and Heat going for sweeps. On TNT tomorrow, Lakers at New Orleans, but first it's Orlando and Atlanta, and both teams will be without key players. Pachulia and Richardson both suspended 1 game from that altercation in Atlanta last night.
So, Paul Pierce, Ray Allen were at the top of their games, and tell you what, the New York crowd, as excited as they were for their first playoff in such a long time, they never could get involved. The Celtics just put it to New York early.
And Amari Stoudemire saying if his back doesn't feel better tomorrow, he's not going to play. Ibaka fouled on the dunk attempt. Another great look by Durant. Kenyon Martin picking up his 4th personal, 2nd team foul on Denver here in the quarter. And Serge Ibaka, who has been terrific on both ends of the floor, 16 points, 12 rebounds, a few blocks, and he's been perfect at the free throw line.
Tell you what, you've got to have an eye for talent, because when you first saw Ibaka come in the league, and certainly when you saw Russell Westbrook come in the league, I don't know that you could have known the kind of growth both guys would experience. And there is Sam Presti, and Mr. Weaver, who, of course, is responsible for one of the happiest moments in your fandom, responsible for getting Carmelo Anthony to Syracuse in that national championship. And now he aspired to the pro level and has done a terrific job alongside Sam Presti.
And we talk about Ibaka, Westbrook, Kevin Durant, 3 guys 22 years of age or younger. And remember Kendrick Perkins, as Chandler misses. Kendrick Perkins is only 26.
Yeah.
And you got Harden as well. He's 21. The team to be reckoned with for a long time, you would think, with all those lengthy contracts they have. Now a technical foul is called on Oklahoma City. It's on Westbrook. Personal foul as well. Maybe an opportunity here for Denver.
They ignored the first reaction, and it was the second one that got him.
Aflalo hits the free throw. Was it on the applause that Jason Phillips teed him up? Did he think that he was showing him up? And Westbrook was clapping behind him?
Well, I think it was, he let the first reaction go, which I thought was great. And I guess it was the second and the third, the kind of clapping behind him that he probably took as showing him up.
Chandler, another miss. Hit his first shot, and that was missed 2 in a row. Really has been a non-factor in this series. Westbrook has it punched out of there by Birdman. Denver ball down 7. Here's J.R. Smith. And Smith fouled by Harden. Thunder over the limit.
Well, a hard driver is Russell Westbrook. Birdman stays right on his hip without fouling him.
And now Denver's getting its good free throw shooters at the line. Gallinari, J.R. Smith. Smith around 75% on the year. Just 1 field goal. Played under 10 minutes again tonight. He was frustrated after struggling in Game 2. Made some comments saying that after their team meeting following the Game 2 loss, that, quote, we didn't have a pulse, and that there was a strong possibility that when he's a free agent, he would sign elsewhere. You see how he shoots his free throws well behind the line. But as you mentioned earlier, Doris, George Karl's kind of used to this. No basket interference on Anderson.
I think George Karl has been masterful handling a variety of personalities that he's coached here in Denver over the years. And while I think the local media reacted to, as you see the disbelief, the local media reacted to J.R. Smith's comment. I think he sits there and goes, well, I've been there before. You know, we know how to handle that.
At one point, you had J.R. Smith, Carmelo Anthony, Allen Iverson, Kenyon Martin, Birdman all on the same roster. Shot clock winding down. Westbrook missing. Offensive rebound, though, by Ibaka. And it's now 5 offensive boards for Ibaka. 13 total. 3 by Harden. Way off. Denver ball. 2:25 to go in the third. Trailing by 6 and down 2-0 in the series. Here's Ray Felton. Harrington's 3 no good. And then Harden called for the loose ball foul. Denver can't hit anything from outside, missing 7 straight threes, but good hustle by the Nuggets, getting them back within 6. And I saw what you guys were talking about, hand at the half, about who's in more trouble, Dallas or San Antonio. Certainly a tough lot for San Antonio, but man, heart-wrenching to blow a 23-point lead. Because, you know, everybody in Mavland is going to be saying, here they go again.
Yes, right. There was extraordinary pressure on them. Maybe more pressure on Dallas than any other team in a first-round series. And it's hard not to imagine some sort of psychological hangover when you give that game away the way you did. And they haven't been a great home team all year.
No.
They've been a better road team. So it'll be very interesting.
Chris Anderson having a terrific night. He's got 10 points. He's made all of his free throw attempts, and Denver's back within 4, down 2-0 in this series. No one's ever come back. 7-game NBA playoff series from down 3-0. Anderson fouling Collis in that time. 4th team foul on Denver.
Well, Anderson's plus-minus was almost as bad in Game 2 as J.R. Smith's was. His plus-minus tonight's been pretty good.
Gives him energy off the bench. A couple of years ago, he was one of the league leaders in blocked shots. And Collison at the line shooting 2. Listen in on Denver Nugget head coach George Karl during the recent huddle.
Gentlemen, we can't change who we are. We are an attack guy. We're an attack team. We got to keep penetrating and find the plays, find the answers. And your defense is strong, but it's got to get better. It's got to stay strong.
7th year for George Karl. Recently signed an extension. Stay in Denver. 23rd overall season as an NBA head coach. Oklahoma City's lead is 5. Nuggets have missed their last 5 shots from the field, but they're cutting into this lead because they're starting to hit their free throws. Here's J.R. Smith working on Harden. Tough shot by Smith, and he'll go back to the line. Denver 9 of 11 at the stripe this quarter. And Harden just picked up his 4th foul. Having trouble keeping J.R. Smith in front of him. And wouldn't you say J.R. Smith, one of the more enigmatic players in the NBA? At times looks like one of the top scorers in the league. Other times can shoot you out of a game.
Did I ever tell you you're the master of understatement? Enigmatic. What do you think George Karl has referenced him as over the years?
Well, they've had their battles, no question.
He calls him a good, bad player.
Yep.
Listen, you cannot question the man's talent. J.R. Smith can score in a hurry, but he scares his own coach as much as the opposing coach.
I'll never forget at one of those high school All-America games, he was all ready to go to North Carolina, and he shot the lights out, was hitting 30-footers, went straight to the NBA after that game. The lead is down to 3 as Durant tries to reverse field and flip it in. Felton with a save. 3 on 2. Smith behind the line for the tie. Got it! As they say, right on cue, J.R. Smith. And that ends a 4-minute drought without a field goal for Denver. Maynard can't get the bounce. And a loose ball foul in Oklahoma City on Muhammad. His 3rd.
Well, he went off the dribble drive on the last play, got a couple of free throw opportunities. This time he sprints the floor, crosses sides of the floor to make the defense cover an awful lot of area. And boy, when he gets it going offensively, look out.
9 points now for J.R. Smith. 6 here in the quarter. And Chris Anderson was perfect at the free throw line, 4-4 to give Denver the lead back. They're 12 of 14 at the line. How about Birdman in 12 minutes looking for his 12th point? First lead for Denver since the midway point of the 2nd quarter. Inside a minute to go in the 3rd. Point. Chandler defending Durant. Shot clock at 8. Durant 6 of 18 from the field. Here's Daquan Cook. Ball fake. Missed a 2. Denver ball. Smith calling for it. Step back. Missed the 3.
They missed him early. They had an opportunity for him in a spot-up 3 situation and didn't find him.
About a 3-second difference between game and shot clocks. Maynard defended by Felton. Shot clock at 7. Here's Kevin Durant with 5. Steal by Felton. 3 seconds left. Felton challenged by Durant and fouled. That's 4 on Kevin Durant.
Well, Durant, I was surprised he didn't pull the trigger because he had a guy who didn't have the size. Felton is known for his toughness. That's a toughness play. Smart foul by Durant because you don't want to make it easy on him.
Felton misses the first free throw, just the 3rd miss for Denver this quarter at the line. And a technical foul on Kevin Durant. Second technical foul against Oklahoma City this quarter. Westbrook got the other one.
Thinking he got fouled on the strip by Ray Felton.
So J.R. Smith will shoot the technical free throw, then Felton will go back to the line. So that's 2 misses in a row for Denver. Now Felton will shoot.
So remember what we said at the top of the telecast. The next step for Oklahoma City is to win on the road in the playoffs. Now you've had 2 of your stars commit technical fouls in important moments in the game, and now you've given away the lead. So now do you respond in the 4th quarter if you're Oklahoma City?
But boy, a blown opportunity to get 3 points in 1 second. They missed all 3 free throws, but because of an 11-1 run to close the quarter, Denver leads by 2, going to the 4th with Oklahoma City leading the series 2 games to none.
Welcome back to Denver, where the Nuggets have surged ahead. And Coach Carl, how has your ability to get to the free throw line really changed the complexion of this quarter?
Well, the only thing we've done really well for the last 25 games is attack the rim. I don't think we're cute enough to figure out anything else right now. I think our defensive energy is good. We made defensive plays. Try to keep the paces fast, try to space the court and get to the rim.
Particularly on Kevin Durant, you've done a nice job defensively. Just 2 field goals in the second half. What's working there?
Well, I think Wilson and Gallo are bodying them, playing them tight, and when he puts them on the floor, we're trying to bring as many people to him as possible.
Thanks, Coach.
And Durant and Westbrook for Oklahoma City. Holly both starting the quarter on the bench. How about 18 free throw attempts for Denver in that quarter? 13 makes. Oklahoma City had only 15 points in the 3rd quarter. Its lowest scoring quarter of the series. Here's J.R. Smith. Off target. Harden with the rebound.
And again, Harden is the leader of this second unit here in terms of his ability to put points on the board. 27 times in 27 of the last 29 games, he was double-digit score. He can get it going.
Cook off target again on a 3-point try. That's 8 straight misses from the field for Oklahoma City. Denver trying to cut this series lead to 2-1 as Smith has now missed a few in a row. Got hot late in the 3rd. Was cooled off. See how long Durant stays on the bench. He's 6 of 18 from the field. Westbrook is 3 of 10, and he's 0 for his last 7. Harden on the drive is fouled first on Denver here in the quarter.
Now, one of the things, there's been a number of things defensively they have done with Kevin Durant, but he's only taken 4 free throws. Kevin Durant on the year averages 8.5 free throw attempts. So they've made his catches difficult. They've trapped him at times. They've put length on him with Wilson Chandler and Danilo Gallinari. They have done a really good job with him.
Think about it. Durant led the NBA in free throws made this year. Coming up tomorrow, an opportunity for both the Celtics and Heat to wrap up their first-round series on ABC. Buick Regal NBA Countdown tips us off at 12:30. Heat Sixers at 1, followed by Celtics and the Knicks. Boy, Miami's looked awfully good in 3 games.
Yeah, I think I'm about as comfortable talking smack about Miami as I was in October when I picked them.
Did you pick them to win it or just to make it to the finals?
I picked them to win it.
Over the Lakers.
Exactly.
Smith in and out. Oklahoma City ball still down 2 in the 6 minutes without a made shot from the field. And then Hart missing those free throws. Maynard, Collison, Muhammad, Cook, and Harden on the floor for Oklahoma City. Harrington, Anderson, Felton, Lawson, and Smith for Denver. Another miss for OKC. Lawson try to take Daquan Cook. The lane not there. Here's Smith again. Another miss for Smith. Look at Birdman. What a night he's had. He's going back to the foul line where he is 6 of 6. Both head coaches are wired for sound tonight.
Keep defending, keep coming, and everybody rebound the ball. Don't let this enthusiasm lose because they get an offensive rebound.
We had a bad 3-minute stretch. Now it's a 12-minute basketball game. We're all right.
Well, interestingly here, I mean, Birdman got the shot for J.R. Smith. He set a very good screen. And then he didn't stop because he set the screen. He attacked the rim. His energy and activity has been as important to his team as Ibaka has been to Oklahoma City. And Ibaka's re-entrance here is as important as Westbrook and Durant hitting the floor.
Ibaka has got 13 rebounds, 6 offensive boards. He has 18 points. Again, Westbrook and Durant combining for 27 points, but they're combined 9 of 28 from the field. 1 out of 2 for Anderson. Denver leads by 3, trying to get its first win in the series.
Well, and half-court execution was a major weakness a season ago for Oklahoma City. Are they better? Yes. Are they good enough? We'll see.
But Durant has been kind of up and down tonight in half-court. And Westbrook, most of his points coming in transition. Foul called on Denver. They wanted a jump ball instead. It's the second team foul on the Nuggets. It's on Al Harrington.
You think back to a year ago, this team's weaknesses. It was half-court execution, late-game execution, and their out-of-bounds were not great. And those were 3 areas that they worked incredibly hard on in the preseason.
It's a team that won on the road in the regular season. Had the 5th best road record in the league at 25 and 16. They won here during the regular season. In fact, the only team to beat the Nuggets here since their trade for Wilson Chandler and Gallinari, sending Carmelo Anthony and Phillips to New York. That's the first point for Westbrook since the first quarter. Didn't win a road game against the Lakers in their first-round series last year. In fact, haven't won a road game in the postseason in 6 years. Trying to get one tonight here at the Pepsi Center. Back within 1. Bucket inside. First field goal by either team in 4 minutes.
And interestingly, you see this an awful lot with Denver in the fourth quarter. They play Felton and Lawson together. It's 2 playmakers, 2 dynamic guys as breakdown guys. They can get off the dribble and make plays.
76-73 Denver on top of Oklahoma City as Durant fires and cans a 3. Third triple for Kevin Durant. He's got 20 points. We are tied at 76. Smith for the answer. In and out. And Anderson again with great hustle. Ibaka with the loose ball foul. His 4th. Anderson shaken up. You talked about his energy. He was huge for them when they went to the conference finals in terms of energy a couple of years ago, trying to help them get over the hump here to get a win in the series.
ESPN's presentation of the NBA playoffs, brought to you by Ford Service. See your Ford dealer for expertise, convenience, and value.
Denver, Oklahoma City looking to go up 3-0 in this series. Games 1 and 2 belong to Kevin Durant and Russell Westbrook, but both struggling tonight offensively.
A really good job, I think, by Denver with Kevin Durant. It's been frustrating here in the second half. Looks like they're going to get a steal and a turn the other direction. That ends up getting Russell Westbrook a technical foul. A tough drive here, no call by Kevin Durant. He's looking for the whistle. And then this is where he got his technical. He felt like Felton fouled him. And watch as he goes over. You're going to see Scott Brooks' reaction. He gets angry, technical foul. And Scott kind of just puts his head in his hands.
Well, Durant did hit a 3 that ended a field goal drought of about 7.5 minutes for Oklahoma City. Well, both teams shooting 30% or worse this half. Two of the best offensive teams in the league during the regular season. Wilson Chandler finds Felton on the spot up three. And an easy board for Westbrook. Trying to get Durant free. And Durant with a fall away. He's now 7 of 20 from the field. Westbrook down the lane, count it, and a foul. First field goal since the 8:37 mark of the first quarter for Russell Westbrook.
He's just so athletic, and the ball comes out loose, and he goes right to the rack. He's explosive. It's about making plays at this point. And listen, both offenses, it's been hard to score. Those are the ways you win basketball games, when you're struggling to shoot the basketball.
So J.R. Smith out of the game with 3 fouls. Westbrook able to complete the three-point play. 6 straight points now for OKC. Back up 3. Inside 8 to go in the fourth. Lawson, Felton, Aflalo, Birdman, and Chandler. So a very small lineup right now for Denver.
Yeah, I was just going to say no Nene and no Kenyon Martin.
Anderson, good D by Ibaka. Collison, Ibaka, Durant. So 3 guys 6'10" or taller for Oklahoma City, and Westbrook and Harden in the backcourt. Westbrook over Aflalo, and late whistle by Derek Stafford. Aflalo picking up his second personal, 4th team foul on Denver.
Yeah, here comes Nene. I thought this lineup was a little bit strange, and so Chris Anderson will go out, Nene in.
But they're still going small with essentially 4 guards on the floor.
Well, and in that instance, there was an exchange on the perimeter, but it looked like Aflalo was going to have to check Durant. So we'll see that next trip up the floor offensively for Oklahoma City.
$16 points for Westbrook. Got both free throws. Oklahoma City on an 8-0 run to take a 5-point lead. 7 points in the quarter for Westbrook. Denver just 1 of 8 shooting here in the period. Almost 5 minutes in. Nene with a beautiful spin on Ibaka.
Great patience. I mean, just absolutely great patience. And Ibaka did a great job to force Nene off the block. Now let's see. See, this is where their matchup advantage is, because Kevin Durant has got size on both guys.
You got Felton guarding Durant, but KD now 7 of 21. Offensive rebound for Westbrook. That's been the story of the series.
But he's just making plays right now, Russell Westbrook. And because you double, it allows him to go and attack the rim from 15 feet as an offensive rebounder.
Here's Harden for 3. Short. And Nene with the board. 1 on 4 as Oklahoma City got back on defense. Felton will slow down, or will it? Lawson can't get the bounce, and Durant with a rebound.
So let's see if they're patient. There's a lot of switching going on with Denver, but you would think Kevin Durant is going to have somebody smaller on him. Yeah, Flalo's checking him.
20 points for Durant from just 7 of 21 from the field. Here's Ibaka with the jumper.
Wow.
Serge Ibaka with 20 points and 14 rebounds. Timeout Denver.
They're giving him that perimeter jump shot. There is not a white jersey within 5 feet of Serge Ibaka. You're selling out to guard everybody else. It is an uncontested jumper. NBA players can make that.
Oklahoma City trying to go 3-0. Let's listen in on a recent Scott Brooks huddle.
Get us up here. Get us up here, and we're going to make some shots. I feel good the rest of the quarter, guys. I feel good. Lay it on the floor. Whatever it takes. Give it on the floor.
They've outscored them by 7, and Westbrook has done that. Laid it on the floor. He's going to call for a foul here.
4th on Westbrook. 4th team foul in Oklahoma City. Kendrick Perkins back on the floor for the Thunder. How about Serge Ibaka tonight, Doris? 20 points, 14 rebounds, 7 offensive rebounds, and 4 blocks. Made all his free throws 10 of 10.
He's non-stop motion. They've given him that perimeter jump shot on the left-hand side of the floor. Doubting whether he could make it. He's made 3.
Shot clock at 5. The Nuggets have just 5 points this quarter, and another blown layup by Kenyon Martin. Nene looked like he got shoved by Perkins. Instead, they say it's out of bounds off of Denver.
Yeah, there's no question. He had his left hand in his back. His right arm pushed him, no question.
Eric Lewis, but it's a turnover.
Nene just looked over his shoulder at the official. He couldn't believe it was a no call.
First turnover of the quarter for Denver, really struggling to score here in the 4th. Turnover is the problem in the second quarter when they had just 18 points. Shot clock at 2. Ibaka's got a fire. And it's a violation.
Tell you what, Denver is fighting on the defensive end. Felton ends up matched up with Kevin Durant, and one of the things they're doing is they're getting into Kevin Durant's space. You know, he's a jump shooter, and if you can get into a jump shooter space and make them uncomfortable, that is what they're doing, even when they're mismatched with a smaller guy on.
Durant 7 of 21 shooting on the night. Here's a Flalo. Kenyon Martin. I don't know if that's the shot they wanted there, especially with their struggles here in the quarter. Just 5 points in 7 minutes.
Boy, both teams 35 and 37% shooting coming out of the last break.
Westbrook can't hit the 3. And a foul inside of Oklahoma City. He's checking with Holland.
Well, the last couple of times down the floor, you see that Denver is struggling to get the offensive rebound. In the last huddle, George Karl was all over his team, screaming at them, "You've got to get the offensive boards." In fact, he put together a whole videotape of Oklahoma City winning close games this year because of their offensive rebounding. He's trying to get that message across to his team. But, guys, they've only got 8 in this game. They haven't done a good job there.
And it's not just it's Ibaka, certainly, but it's also Russell Westbrook crashing the glass.
Oklahoma City trying to take a commanding 3-0 series lead. A Flalo, another miss. He was hot to start the game, his first game of the series after missing games 1 and 2 with the hamstring injuries. Last field goal was at the 7-minute mark of the first quarter. Denver foul. That puts the Nuggets over the limit, so free throws for Oklahoma City the rest of the way. And they're the best free throw shooting team in the NBA, at least during the regular season. Durant, a rare miss at the free throw line. 88% shooter during the regular season.
Teams are combined 5 for 23 from the floor.
This quarter, 1 out of 2 for Durant. 6-point lead for Oklahoma City. Who's going to score for Denver? No Carmelo Anthony to bail him out here in the 4th quarter of the playoffs. Felton on the drive. Tried to get it to Nene. Perkins with the strip. Westbrook stuck a hand in there as well. J.R. Smith hit a couple shots at the end of the 3rd, then he went on to miss 6 in a row, so he's on the bench. As Durant rising over Chandler, and Wilson Chandler called for his 4th foul. Durant back to the line.
George Karl talked about how many free throw attempts Kevin Durant gets. He's a little bit frustrated with the call. The one thing Kevin did in that situation, he was decisive in his move, and he went quickly into it.
The youngest in the history of the NBA to lead the league in scoring. And then he goes out and does it back-to-back years, ages 21 and 22. He leads the NBA in points per game. 30 last year and 28 points per game this year.
And he's still going to get stronger and better at playmaking and better handling double teams. So, you know, there's yet another level for this guy to get to.
In his 4th season in the NBA, Felton leaves it for Martin, and he'll go to the line.
He's at 5 on Durant now with a little over 3.5 to play. Ibaka trying to take credit for it. Oh, they give it to Nazir Muhammad. Is he even on the floor?
That's 5 on. No, I think it's on Ibaka. They got the number wrong. No, they do get Durant.
I thought it was Durant, yeah.
So 5 on Durant. To your point, there's Nazir Muhammad.
Yeah, hard to commit a foul from the bench.
I thought maybe they were off by 1 number and called it on Ibaka. He was defending, but it was Durant from behind trying to swat Kenyon Martin. It's a 10-3 run right now for Oklahoma City since the game was tied at 76 at the 8:49 mark. A lane violation on Oklahoma City, so another free throw for Martin. We may have to put a second or 2 back on the clock as well.
Now they hope to do here in the 4th what they did in the 3rd, which was get into the bonus with about 3 minutes left and then make a ton of free throws. They were 7 for 11. That's exactly what Denver hopes to do here in this period.
That was the 41st free throw attempt by Denver here tonight, cutting the lead to 6. Durant double team back to Westbrook. Shot clock inside of 10 seconds. And OKC go up 3-0.
Wow.
Westbrook with the jumper. The lead is 8.
Kenyon Martin was shading to the side of Kevin Durant because he's checking Perkins, who's not going to hurt you offensively. And Westbrook takes matters into his own hands.
9 in the quarter, 19 for the game for Russell Westbrook. Durant with the swap on Afflalo. 3rd block for Kevin Durant. Since moving to Oklahoma City, this franchise has not won a road playoff game. Trying to end the drought tonight as Westbrook had his shot blocked, and it's a 24-second violation. It'll be Denver ball when we come back.
It has not been a pretty offensive quarter for either team. It's been a grind. They're shading the Kevin Durant side. Russell Westbrook takes matters. He's made a lot of big plays down the stretch for OKC.
Playoff high, 20 points and 15 rebounds for Serge Ibaka.
And he's done it in a number of different ways. He's an improving offensive player, but I don't know that he's got as much of a offensive package as he does his athleticism and instincts on both ends of the floor. He does a nice job running in transition. He fights on the defensive end of the floor. His movement to that 4 spot has been important. The addition of Kendrick Perkins. Now he makes a couple of jump shots, and they are not in the lead without his performance tonight.
See the numbers for Durant and Westbrook as well. Westbrook with 9 points here in the quarter. How about Denver, though? The #1 scoring team in the NBA. Granted, that number a little inflated because he had Carmelo Anthony here, but only 7 fourth-quarter points for the Nuggets.
On 2 of 15 shooting, and this guy's been quiet for a while.
7 straight misses from the field. Afflalo has not hit a shot from the floor since midway through the 1st quarter.
Well, you have to wonder about the strength of his legs, that hamstring injury. A jump shooter is all about his legs.
Here's Ibaka. Off the mark. Long rebound. Felton. Not a hurry. Cut into this 8-point Denver deficit.
Boy, they just look unsure offensively.
Nene got it to go. Circus shot. Lead is 6 for Oklahoma City with 1:42 remaining. Sports Center coming up next. Highlights from all the NBA playoff games today, and also Major League Baseball. Field goal by Nene ends a drought of 5.5 minutes without a field goal for the Nuggets. 1.5 minutes remaining. Oklahoma City trying to go 3-0 in the series. Durant short. Another long rebound. Felton 3-on-3. Felton drives right by Durant, who can't pick up a sixth foul, and Felton blew the layup.
Wow.
Now Flalo with a foul on Westbrook.
Well, these players look exhausted. You've got a Flalo leaning over.
How do you miss a layup in the playoffs with just over a minute to go? You know Durant's not going to go for the... Well, he went for the block there, but he does have 5 fouls and let Felton get by him.
Well, and how about this? How about there's not a white jersey running the floor with Ray Felton? Not one. Nobody went and tried to make a play off the miss.
Yep. They were doing that earlier in the game.
The only guy who did that was Chris Anderson. J.R. Smith was ineffective after making that 1-3, so he's been on the bench.
That's a big swing. Looked like you're going to get a layup. Cut that lead down to 4. Instead, you're back down 8. Flalo gets the layup. It's a 6-point game. Quickly inbounded to Durant. Here's Westbrook taking it in and laying it in.
Wow, why would you let that go uncontested if you're Nene?
Chandler can't hit the 3. Perkins with the rebound, and Denver's got to start fouling here. Oklahoma City 49 seconds away from going up 3-0 in the series, getting its first road win in the playoffs.
Why is Nene not going to make a play on the basketball? You get a trap out there, and Nene looking like he's going to react to Kendrick Perkins when he lets Westbrook go right to the 10.
How about Westbrook outscoring Denver by himself here in the quarter, 13-11. In previous years in the playoffs, you knew you had Billups or Carmelo Anthony to take a big shot in the 4th quarter. Or J.R. Smith. But Smith, since, as you mentioned, that 3 he hit late in the 3rd, hasn't done anything. He's been on the bench here in the 4th. Now Flalo, who was hot early, has been cold since the 1st quarter. Wilson Chandler has been cold all series.
Well, Oklahoma City, we questioned whether or not they could win on the road.
And then a long pass by Perkins.
Wow, just a silly mistake.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, neither team...
Inbounded under the basket, too, because it wasn't touched.
It's like they're trying to give the game away on both sides of the ball. It's been awful execution. Just awful.
Guys, here's how the West looks. You mentioned the comeback by Portland to even the series with Dallas. Memphis goes up 2-1 in its series with San Antonio. Meanwhile, 8-point game. Flalo fouled, so an opportunity for points with a clock stop for Denver.
He makes them both. You're looking at a completely different equation. Neither team has executed well. You've let guys go uncontested to the rim. You're going to get free throw here.
Denver and Oklahoma City combining for 80 free throws. Denver made its foul shots in the 3rd quarter. Really from the field. They haven't done a whole lot in the 2nd half.
2-possession game with 41 ticks on the clock. If he makes this free throw, 2 possession.
Denver from the field 10 of 35 this half. Flalo misses the 2nd one, kept alive by Nene, gets the handle and is fouled. He can cut it to 5 with the clock stopped at 38.2. Ibaka picking up his 5th foul. This game's not over yet.
Not going in the books as textbook execution in the playoffs.
And Oklahoma City trying to get its first road win as Nene misses. We'll have one more.
As you said, this guy's not a bad free throw shooter. At this point, he's got the yips. He might as well be standing over a 2-foot putt. 15 missed free throws by Denver tonight.
But it's a 2-possession game. 38.2 on the clock. Oklahoma City ball when we come back to Denver. Thunder trying to go up 3-0 in the series. Never come back from a 3-0 deficit in a best-of-7 series to win in the NBA playoffs. That might be what George Karl and his team is facing. Now, you look at some teams that forced a Game 7 coming back from down 0-3, but they didn't win Game 7. As Wilson Chandler's called for a foul, so Durant will shoot free throws. Sixth foul on Chandler, so he's done. And with the way Oklahoma City's played, especially considering Westbrook and Durant didn't have their best nights to come win in Denver, this stands. Team that lost just once the last 2 months here at home. You would think it'd be hard for Oklahoma City to lose 4 in a row.
Oh, I agree. I agree. And this is going to be the 11th and 12th free throws for Durant. Now they're saying it's on Martin, not Chandler.
No, it's on Chandler. He's fouled out. They're just trying to figure out who's going to be on the floor for Chandler. So Durant at the foul line again. Well, Wilson Chandler just 1 of 4 from the field, so he is 8 of 39 in 5 games against Oklahoma City from the field. They needed his offense again. That 2-guard spot, Flalo, Smith, and Chandler just not giving him enough. Another miss by Durant. Flalo in the corner. Knocked away by Durant. Denver down 7, 13 to shoot, 25.2 to go in the game.
Got to get a shot quick.
J.R. Smith coming back on the floor. Smith gets a look, hits a 3. 4-point game with 23.3 remaining.
We saw this sort of sarcastic smile when he came in, a little frustration that he hadn't played, but gets him within 4.
So J.R. Smith hits a 3, but still Oklahoma City up 4 with 23.3 seconds left and the ball. The Thunder has looked extremely impressive this series after winning 55 games during the regular season. And as you watch this team, is this a club that can win a couple series and maybe get to the conference finals based on what you've seen?
Well, I don't think their late game execution on either end of the floor has been great necessarily, but yes, you know, if they're allowed to play their game, get out in transition, they put a ton of pressure on you. Russell Westbrook has made a lot of big plays. You've got a dynamic scoring tandem, and if Ibaka can play this well, you know you're going to get a better performance from Kendrick Perkins defensively. He got foul trouble, didn't play a ton of minutes. You've got to inbound this cleanly and hopefully to one of your better free throw shooters.
And Denver needs to foul. They can't catch up to Westbrook. They wasted about 5 or 6 seconds there. Westbrook, 84% foul shooter. Try to extend the lead to 6.
But they responded. You know, they had it put to them in the 3rd period. Gave up the lead and then came out and responded here in the 4th. So that is a major step forward.
First miss for Westbrook tonight at the line. And they close out the Nuggets here in Game 3. 18.3 left. He missed them both. And a timeout by Denver. The Nuggets will have 1 left. Well, talking moments ago about Oklahoma City, maybe can they win 2 series? They got to win Game 3 first, and it looked like it was over a minute ago. And now Denver's got the ball down.
Does it feel like either team really wants to seize control of this game and just finish it?
Again, you have to wonder with this young Oklahoma City team on the road, is this nerves here late? Game 4 of this series Monday here at the Pepsi Center. And if necessary, back to Oklahoma City for Game 5 Wednesday.
And the way they're missing free throws, you could really go for a deuce inside. And sometimes the most effective play is the entry pass right into the post. So we'll see where George Karl elects to go. You've still got J.R. Smith on the floor.
Now their execution in half court hasn't been very good. Denver.
I still think, let's see if they're going to have J.R. Smith inbound it. They are. So he is not your option for a three initially. Now you remember, you sometimes lose track of that inbounder.
You got Cephaloshin, excellent defender guarding him. And here is Smith, got the screen from the man and hit it! It's a one-point game with 14.6 left. And down court is Ibaka. He's going to get the dunk, but it's a one-possession game, and Denver's got the ball. 10.5 left.
Exactly what I said, though. You enter the ball into the post. Sometimes that's the best play. And then I also said you lose track of the inbounder. So this is Cephaloshin checking the ball, and then he actually doesn't lose track, but they enter to Nene, who catches, delivers, sets a little screen.
If you're Ibaka, do you maybe wait for a few seconds to try to take time off the clock?
Yeah, he could have almost taken a dribble to the other side of the floor, the other side of the basket.
Because again, now Denver's got a chance to tie it.
Right.
I don't know if you could have run out the clock, but maybe could have got it down to 3 or 4 seconds if he'd have run away from the basket. And then had the foul come. And look how much time is on the clock here, where Nene is. I mean, you got a couple seconds you can wait there or dribble it out.
Yeah, because Nene is coming up the floor a little bit more slowly. But I think he's thinking, let's put points on the board, and they have to make a 3 to tie. Now listen, do they go back to the same exact play where you enter to the post? You've got to think that Oklahoma City will try to take that away. Now you're going to inbound, it looks like, with somebody other than J.R. Smith. Yeah, you're going to allow Felton to inbound it.
Denver is out of timeouts. Down 3, 10.5 left. J.R. Smith has hit consecutive triples. We'll see if they can get it in his hands again. Here's Nene looking for Smith. Nene got to get rid of it. Here's Smith with 5. Smith leaning into Harden with 2, forces it up. Great defense by Harden, and Oklahoma City win. It's a 3-0 series lead for the Thunder. J.R. Smith thought he was fouled shooting the 3, but it looked like good defense by Harden.
A really good job exchanging screens. They took away that three-point line by making all the proper switches. The inbounds pass to Nene, who they're just trying a little stagger cross screen here. Good deny by Harden initially. And then he even makes the catch tough, and then he's just in his space. Really, really good defense by James Harden. How about that contest?
Looked like great defense by Harden there. No foul. And the official right in front of it. Oklahoma City leads the series 3-0. Here's Holly Rowe.
Well, Kevin, you did something tonight you haven't been able to do, win on the road. How hard was it to close this out?
It was tough. Those guys made some big-time shots late in this game. I think we did a great job on defense that fourth quarter. Everybody played together, and it was a good win.
Early in this game, your bigs got into foul trouble, so Serge Ibaka comes in and just goes strong. How do you describe his performance tonight?
They've been giving him open shots all series. He missed a few the first game, made some in the second game. Tonight he was hot. And we kept finding him, man. He did a great job protecting the basket and getting some block shots, and he led us to a good win.
They tied the game 76-76, and Russell Westbrook came out and just lit up the fourth quarter. What do you like about how he did that and took over?
You know what, Russ has been doing that all season. I got the ball a few times. They started to double, and Russ took it upon himself to get some easy baskets. So it was a good one, man.
3-0, you're up in this series. How do you close it out?
Just got to play hard.
Thank you.
9 points, Holly, in the fourth quarter for Kevin Durant, 26 for the game. But Serge Ibaka, both career playoff highs, points and rebounds, 22 points, 16 boards. He was perfect at the line. Oklahoma City wins at 97-94 and leads this best-of-7 series 3-0. Thunder goes for the sweep Monday night here at the Pepsi Center. SportsCenter is up next on ESPN. For Doris Burke, Holly Rowe, and our entire crew, I'm Dave Pasch. So long from Denver. Oklahoma City, 3-0 series lead over the Denver Nuggets. So long.